So the political lobbying arm of Facebook recently, that seems sort of odd to say, political lobbying arm of Facebook. Anyway, they recently made a $10,000 donation to a Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes re-election campaign. Okay, so already nothing really odd that stands out about here. Oh, it's a corporation. Corporations donate money to candidates all the time, right? Well, except that Reyes is fighting to bring back Utah's ban on same-sex marriage. Now, wait a minute. I thought that Facebook was an LGBT company, or at least LGBT friendly, and standing up for personal rights. They make a big deal about that, about how, look at how gay friendly we are. We love the gays. They're great. Well, what gives? Well, according to the website Q Salt Lake, they reached out to Facebook and they had this to say. Facebook has a strong record on LGBT issues, and that will not change, but we make decisions about which candidates to support based on an entire portfolio of issues important to our business, not just one. A contribution to a candidate does not mean that we agree with every policy position that the candidate takes. Whatever. This is corporate, pretty much corporate speak to say that, yeah, well, we don't really like his anti-gay stance, but we're going to give him money anyway to get him reelected. And the most important part of that statement is that they are committed to fostering innovation and an open internet. So, in the interest of fairness, Facebook has also donated to pro-LGBT candidates, and apparently the big issue here is Sean Reyes is for net neutrality. So here's the question. Do you guys think it's fair to condemn Facebook for supporting this guy?
No. I don't think it's fair to condemn Facebook for this. No, it's not fair for us to criticize Facebook for this. The simple fact is they're a business. Their primary motive and their primary concern will be net neutrality. It makes all the sense in the world that they're going to support candidates who support net neutrality, regardless of what other issues they support too. And keep in mind, the way things are going in the States, this is an issue that seems to be slowly settled, in the sense that it's slow. Pro-gay marriage is slowly winning more and more ground, and it's all going to roll domino eventually. I'm betting if Facebook had to rationalize it any deeper, they would eventually go and say that it's not, in the long term, this guy won't make a strong difference for the issue of same-sex marriage, but he might make a strong case for net neutrality, because this is the way it works. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. And the devil we know are the homophobic bigots. The devil we don't know is a world where net neutrality is gone completely. And that's, I think, why Facebook did this. Because they fear the world with no net neutrality far more than the current one that is already moving towards having gay marriage legal across the board. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. In that Facebook, they probably would have liked if Sean Reyes was in favor of gay marriage, but they're an internet-based company. They care more about net neutrality than they do about gay marriage. If they were a kind of a wedding planning company, then maybe they wouldn't give them the money because they want more marriages to happen, so therefore they'd be in favor of gay marriage. I don't think Facebook kind of can be condemned for this. As they pointed out, we've given money to kind of all different types of people who have been in favor of gay marriage. They just care more about getting net neutrality sorted out, and that's fair enough. Now, an argument can be made that at a state level, kind of a state attorney, he's probably going to have more impact on issues such as kind of a ban on same-sex marriage than he is going to have on net neutrality as a whole for the entire nation. But nonetheless, they've got kind of their priority is net neutrality. They're going to give their money to people who are going to help further their goals. So, yeah, Facebook is innocent in this regard.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of the question, is a question of impact. You know, as for me, I think, I mean, one attorney general in Utah, I don't think is going to have much impact on net neutrality. I'm thinking more he might have an effect on trying to bring back that ban for same-sex marriage in Utah. Now, you guys make some good points saying that, yeah, it's the domino that's going to fall, and net neutrality is definitely super important. So but you have to also look at, like I said, who's going to have more of an impact on what. If they're not going to have a lot of an impact on net neutrality, but more impact on, on the same-sex marriage ban, then it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for Facebook to support that guy if he's not going to make that much of a difference. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, the thing is as well, Facebook. I mean, $10,000. That's kind of pocket money for a company like Facebook. Would it not have been in Facebook's interest? Because obviously now they're having to defend themselves a bit here, and okay, it's a rather easy attack to slap away. But could they have not said to Sean Reyes that we understand that kind of you're against gay marriage, and we'd like to be able to support you in your push for net neutrality. We'd love that, but we can't because your stance on gay marriage. We can only give you kind of $5,000. However, if you say no, I'm not that bothered about the gay marriage issue, I'm going to let that lie. That's not a cause I'm going to fight for anymore. We might give you $20,000. If they give them the money, show them the money, and they will do, sort of thing. I mean, the legality of that's another issue. There probably is some loophole in your American system that they could do that anyway. So I don't know why Facebook didn't do that in this instance.
I can give you a good reason why they shouldn't do that, because I guarantee you that would come out, and it would look worse. But on the other side, keep in mind, one of the benefits progressives have at the moment is, for the most part, corporate spending for political interest, and I mean changing political minds, is done by corporations with more right-wing leanings. If Facebook starts doing that and saying, oh, but we might throw a little extra if you change your mind on this gay rights issue, the right will go ballistic, and suddenly a lot of progressive credibility is lost. And I think that's not a trade-off worth playing. It's not worth playing their game that way to make your point. I think the dominoes are falling. I don't want to get caught in that mess. I think it's a very dangerous game to play, and you don't want to be the one that suddenly destroys all progressive credibility in various avenues of anti-corporate spending. So,
right, and look at the optics of it too. Do you think? I mean, I think it might have a little bit of an impact on public perception of Facebook. Oh, look at that! You're supporting this, this douchebag. I mean, a lot of the LGBT publications have jumped onto this and are like, Facebook, what are you doing? I thought you were supposed to be LGBT friendly, right? And then they'll point out, well, we do support these guys too, right? So I'm wondering if you guys think if Facebook will take a hit in the PR department over this, and how big of one it'll be.
I think they will, but they could have lessened. I mean, I think their statement is fair enough. I wouldn't have expected much more from them, but I would have liked it if they'd come out and said, something to the effect that, we think that kind of Sean Reyes' views on kind of trying to ban same-sex marriage, kind of they're stupid and ignorant, but we care more about net neutrality. We know, and everyone in the nation knows, that kind of gay marriage, anyone who supports gay marriage is on the right side of justice here. It's going to happen. There's nothing that Sean Reyes is going to be able to do with that $10,000 to stop gay marriage happening in Utah. If they came out more strongly and said something like that, then I think people would go, okay, Facebook know kind of they're definitely in favor of LGBT. I mean, they are anyway. I think that's quite clear. No one's saying they're not. But I would have liked a stronger statement from them supporting that fact.
But think about how that looks if you're Sean Reyes. All of a sudden, you're going, what the hell? You just gave me money and we're going to be friends in this net neutrality thing, and now you're saying I'm basically meaningless in all this? What the hell? It still doesn't look good there. I mean, for different reasons, because then it makes you sound like the guy you just bought is pointless to begin with. And I mean, it's not a good way of, if you are playing the money in politics game, that's not the wisest way of doing it.
They can still make an argument and say, we don't think that his position will have any impact on gay marriage, but we think in his position he has greater impact on the case of net neutrality and getting something done there within the state. They could make that argument. I mean, I probably wouldn't agree with that case, but they could make that argument. I think that would be a better way. I mean, they probably shouldn't come out as strongly as I worded it. You're probably right there, but I feel like they maybe should have just said a bit more in terms of at least saying kind of gay marriage is going to happen. We're not too worried about his views, sort of thing, in regards to gay marriage. That's not our concern. I just want them to say something a little bit more. Just give us, give us that Obama change. Give us that 5-10% change in statement. Just a bit more strength.
But see, here's I would agree. There's a couple things I would need first before I would go with you on that one though. The big thing is I would need to know more about the nature of his stances on these things. In the sense that, does he just not believe in gay marriage, but he's not actively, like, super hardcore actively campaigning and spending all of his time against it? If so, then I would be concerned that making a statement too strong like that would kind of push him more in that direction. To think, oh my God, we're losing. I have to do more then. All of a sudden, and I don't know. I think it's a tricky business. If he already is at that point, then whatever. Then there's no going back from that. I think it really depends on which he's advocating more strongly for at the time, and which he is willing to campaign for more.
Yeah, I mean, one could make the argument that he's now been given, for him in his position, it's a hefty sum of money from an internet firm that are saying we care about net neutrality. He's maybe thinking, maybe if I kind of do something on net neutrality, I may get a bit more money, sort of thing. Maybe I will ignore that. So maybe, in a way, they are helping the LGBT cause. They're saying, we care about net neutrality. If you do, if you help support that and you ignore your other if you prioritize the way we prioritize, then you may get more money. And there's a whole ton of issues whether that's kind of morally right and stuff. But you could make an argument in saying that giving them money, you're basically paying them off to not have ignorant views, which I don't necessarily agree with, because kind of gay rights, that's, as we said, that's going to happen anyway. There's no point throwing money at that cause because it's a one cause already. But you could make that argument as well.
See, there's a gradation here, though. I mean, money in politics in general is a bad idea, but there's definitely different degrees to how bad it is. They're the guys who, if you pay them enough money, they'll focus on your issue at the time, and it's an issue they already agree with, and they'll devote that attention to. Then there's outright buying politicians wholesale and completely changing their views based on money. That, I think, is a much more dangerous and nefarious game, and that, I think, is what the issue is here, is you give them too much and you're running that risk, and not only do I think that's morally wrong, if that comes out, it really looks bad. So I get what you're saying, Stephen. I don't think it's the right course.
I think just before, like, Sean will probably want to wrap this up. It really, all this kind of what we've been going back and forth, it really does depend on the mind of Sean Reyes, and how heavily against gay marriage is he, how heavily in favour of net neutrality, how much work and time and devotion does he give to each cause. We don't know. We don't know kind of the intricacies of the inner workings of his mind. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out in this case.
Before we wrap this up, I just want to ask the obvious question: guilty, not guilty? What's your vote?
Not guilty.
Yeah, not guilty.
On principle, I will vote guilty because it won't have any sort of effect.